Hey, Julian, Cesc here, and welcome to another exciting episode of Padel Smash Academy. And today we have Patrick and Conor Shields from Fromuth Racquet Sports.
We are all things paddle.
Hey guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Why don't you talk to me a little bit about Fromuth and what they do?
Fromuth is a racket sports distributor. It's been in business for over 50 years. And what we do is we supply pro shops at clubs because usually they're so small that they can't have open accounts with Wilson, Babolat, Adidas, Nike. And so they come to us. We're kind of like a middleman for that. We're their warehouse.
Right. So this is a great alternative to trying to get, individual accounts from all these different brands, right?
Correct.
And
Correct.
so you guys do mostly B2B, and so that they can profit but not have, let's say, the stock of all these rackets, right, in the club?
Fromuth Racquet Sports is 100% a B2B. You basically have to set up an account with us and have a legitimate pro shop. So we don't go to the end user. We are strictly wholesale. And once you get a password protected account, then you get into the website with the wholesale pricing. And one of the things that we make sure we do is when we get an order from a club, it ships that day. Because service, when you're a player and you go to your local pro and pro shop and you want something, you want it then.
Yeah.
You're used to being able to grab something off the shelf and going to play with it. So we get it out right away so that it gets into the customer's hand, the end user's hand, as quickly as possible.
Wow, it's great. And so you're focused mostly on clubs, right?
Yes, sir.
Clubs. And can you talk about some of the brands you guys have?
Our biggest brands in the footwear are Nike and Adidas, Babolat, Caceres.
ASICS.
ASICS is a hot brand right now.
On the
Doing
footwear?
great.
Yes.
On the
Okay.
footwear
Yeah, we
side.
carry over 80 brands.
Okay.
So all the major tennis racket brands, major tennis apparel brands. It was a tennis business. Now it's a racket sports business.
Okay, but you carry from apparel, accessories,
Yes.
rackets,
Nets, windscreens, vibration dampeners.
so you're the one-stop
Lines.
shop for any racket
Yes.
sports.
Yeah.
For
Correct.
paddle, pickle, and tennis?
Yes.
Squash,
Squash, too, yeah.
racquetball when it was
Yeah,
whatever
that's right,
racquetball.
I know.
So Patrick, tell us a little bit. I mean, you've been in the business for 30 plus years or so. How do you see the evolution of? I mean, you guys been tennis centric for so many decades. How did you guys see the evolution of all these new sports, pickleball, paddle, and all
It's
that?
a great question and something that we're very excited about because for up until about 5 years ago, we used to say that we were in the tennis business.
Yeah.
And now we say we're in the racket sports business. So when the tennis boom, hit 30, 40 years ago, all these clubs were built. And since then, there hasn't been that much investment in the infrastructure of racket sports. And now with Padel and pickleball, there's just been a lot of money flowing into new clubs. And so even if you're a tennis club and you were kind of limping along over the last couple decades, now you might take 2 tennis courts and put in some Padel courts, and now you're a different business.
Yeah.
So it's really rejuvenated, it's rejuvenated old clubs as well as, new clubs coming in that, are just really exciting. And I always say racket sports are having a moment.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
everybody, you can go somewhere and look at a crowd and everybody's playing some racket sport.
Yeah.
You couldn't say that.
I think that hybrid format, especially, I mean, if you go to Northeast, you have all these commercial clubs. You know what I mean? They've been around since the 70s. And they've been always struggling. You always have 1 or 2 courts pretty much that nobody wants to use. And now they're adding all these other racket sports. And now they're creating 1 or 2 different sources of revenue for the club, which I think is great. So how do you guys fill that gap as a company? And what are you guys doing to fill that gap?
I'll let you answer that.
Yeah. So we are, diving into getting pickled paddles and Padel rackets and Padel shoes. Like we're now at a place where we're comfortable and we can supply a full Padel shop with everything that they need. So we want to mimic what we've done and what he's done in tennis for 35 plus years into paddle and into pickle. And we believe we can get there, as these sports really continue to grow.
And one other thing that's really drives us is we are addicted to Padel.
Oh yeah.
We love it.
Join the club, man.
It's
Join the
so
club.
fun, and we're going out as a family. We're playing a little father-son stuff,
Yeah.
and so that's kind of it's fun when you go to work every day. You can't wait to see the new rackets coming out, and
So big question. Which racket sport do you like the most?
Padel.
Oh, wow.
100%. I tell everybody that
Why?
right now.
Wow.
It's the most interesting. It's just what you have to stay focused mentally. The points are the longest,
Yeah.
right?
It's not about power. It's about
It's about
opening space.
It's about absorbing that power, and then just being crafty. And he can fly all over the court.
Yeah.
I can't. So I have to be more crafty.
Then
when
on your
I
skill,
play.
you know what I'm saying? Your
And,
chiquitas and loves.
Oh,
And
yeah. And it's about keeping the ball in play,
yeah.
not hitting winners.
Right.
So
I mean,
Being patient.
I love what I hear from you guys from Fromuth. I've been also before in the tennis business, and I've been buying things from you guys for many years. And I love the alliances that you did in the tennis world. With the USTA, the USBTA back in the day. I don't know if you still do, but and I think those are very strategic. And now the trains start picking up speed with paddle. You know what I mean? It's this is the year. 2025 is the year because it's gonna whoever jumps on it is gonna enjoy it the most. And I love what I hear from you guys that you guys see it where it's going. I mean, it's not there yet, but it's gonna pick him up speed because for what you see in the rest of the world. I mean, it's just crazy. It's mind blowing.
I mean, we talked to a lot of vendors, a lot of distributors,
Yes.
and they're getting orders, big orders of courts, big orders of this. But you talk to investors. There's clubs opening up here, there, all over USA, and it's like, wow. This is, like you said, 2025. You're gonna see a lot of movement.
And I think you guys, when we talk to new club owners, they need guidance. And after spending millions or a lot of money on opening a club and all that, they don't want to have that expense of buying $20,000-$30,000 worth of Wilson or Head or whatever in only rackets that they don't even know the business how it works. Mm-hmm. So I think you guys coming in where they can purchase one or two rackets and see if it sells and then purchase more.
Right.
I think that gap is going to be crucial for the growth of the sport in general.
100%, because I think most clubs, they go in thinking this could be a vertical,
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they don't have a whole department to sales staff, sales team to sell these products.
Correct.
And they individually have
Correct.
to go to each one of these companies, and sometimes there's a minimum order. And which ones do you get? Right? I mean, it's like you don't know which ones to get.
Right.
You get these, and then somebody comes in, I want that one. It's like,
Yeah.
And it sits there, and you got $10,000-$20,000 just sitting there, where you could use it something else. And
That's
a lot of people,
100% correct.
and a lot of people come in and they'll buy it. They'll look at a racket, they like it, and then they'll go home, do some research, and find it 20% cheaper, 10% cheaper somewhere else.
Yeah,
Buy
and,
somewhere else.
and every club demographic is different, right? Every pro shop's different.
Right.
So Fromuth can allow you to really get off your feet and do that trial and error process with different brands and not take on as much risk.
Right.
So tell us, I mean, out of 40,000+ viewers and listeners, I'm a club owner. A lot of our listeners and viewers are club owners, right? Or they want to open a club, which we get that a lot. So now, what is the process, me as a new club owner, to go through Fromuth? You said open an account, and then how does it work?
Yeah, so there's a pretty simple application you fill out online. We have an approval process within our team. Once you get approved, you get an account, you log in your account, and then we have a website that's very easy and up-to-date to use. It's almost like a direct-to-consumer website where, you see your pricing at wholesale if you're a club, and then what you can sell it for.
Okay.
Right under that.
So what's the average margin that most clubs can see?
They would
Look at it.
a club using us would pay about 10% more. Excuse me, 10% more using us than going direct. So
That's
we get discounts from the manufacturers.
Okay.
So we make our margin. We run it on a tight margin,
Yeah.
and we make our margin on partly on the buy side and partly on the sell side.
Okay.
So what's important to understand is that the reason there has to be an application process here is because we have to protect the integrity of the distribution network. So if Bolt Paddles, sells to us, they want to make sure that we're selling to pro shops, not some guy in apartment 3B.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So you have to, you have to qualify the buyers and the pro shops. If they're a legitimate business, then we can be open for business.
So they need a resale tax certificate. They need, how do they prove to Fromuth that they're a legitimate business?
It's basically you can send us a picture of your shop
Okay.
and the club. You can tell us about the club. It's not that complicated.
Yeah.
To
Articles
prove
of
that you're in the
organization,
business.
just resale
Yeah.
certificate.
You
Yes.
give us your
sales
shipping
certificate.
address and we can look it up online
Right,
to see
right,
where
right,
you are.
right. Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so do you guys do like consignment or anything else with clubs, or is it just strictly they purchase it, they have it, and then they
yeah,
sell?
that's generally what it is. They
Okay.
just purchase, and there's no minimum orders. Pro shops and pro shop owners have to be careful, like you said, that they don't get too over inventoried. They
Right.
need that cash flow primarily for marketing when they open a club.
Yeah. Just to decoration and show it like it's a
Yeah.
real power.
Did you guys help
Yeah.
them with that too? Like a consulting, somebody can call and say, I want to get 12 rackets. What should I get?
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's another piece of the puzzle there where,
Yeah.
our customer service team gets educated from those brands and really knows what they're talking
Or you
about.
can watch
so they
the
can help.
reviews. I mean,
Yeah.
Julian on the
The
rackets.
reviews
Yeah, it's true.
Check out the top 5 best rackets.
Well, it's a tough thing to keep up with because
Yeah, it
new
is.
products keep coming out.
every
Yeah.
year. Every year.
So-
Yeah, and the American market, it's they're so eager for knowledge and what will be, because one thing is to spend a couple $100 for a Babolat racket, tennis racket. These ones they go for $300, $400, $500. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's a hefty sum that
Mm-hmm.
before I make that purchase, I want to have really which one is it and who are the experts in.
That's why it's important for a club to have a demo program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you talk about somebody, trying a racket and then going home and getting it cheaper on Amazon or whatever, it's important for that club to offer,
It's a great point.
a program where it
Yeah.
incentivizes the end user to then buy from them.
So do you guys have demo rackets that they can purchase
Yes. We offer that online and then
for some of the
attached to our warehouse is a store
companies?
where we do, maybe $20, $10 to demo a racket.
Right. 'Cause
And then
yeah.
you take that off
Oh,
the
okay.
original price.
So you
Oh,
ship
that's-
them to them?
That's a good idea.
Yes.
So let's say I'm in Arizona and you ship it from the Northeast to Arizona, test the racket and then send it back to you, or?
So it depends. As a wholesaler, it depends on the brand and what we can offer online. through
Usually
that
the
brand.
way we do it is if a shop wants to buy, half a dozen paddles, we throw in a demo of that paddle
Okay.
Nice,
to
that's
help
good.
them sell it.
Okay.
And
Smart.
so we have people that are just working with our customers on different formulas in that regard all the time.
And another thing I forgot to mention is that if you're a club and you end up buying $10,000-$20,000 rackets, and they're 2024 models, and now 2025 comes,
Right.
and they're asking, "Hey, do you have the new model?" And you're like, "No, because I still have $20,000 worth of old models and I can't get rid of,
Oh, yeah.
and I can't even buy the new 2025s." So it's like I said, it's a good alternative for something like Fromuth to come in and supply you with the rackets for sure.
Yeah, and
So
that's
sorry, go ahead.
that's something that I see more in paddle and pickleball than I do in the tennis market. With
Okay.
so many new lines every year that it's hard to really keep up.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
And so many new companies coming out. Paddles like, how do you vet them out? Are they really a company, or are they just going and getting like a mold from China that everybody uses and throwing it out with their name on it? Who's done the real R&D? So we get rackets sent to us all the time, and we have to kind of weed them out and see what which one's
Right.
legitimate and which ones aren't.
Right. And the manufacturers, the Padel companies, the tennis companies, they don't want to ship one racket to a club.
Yeah.
They want a big order.
Sure.
Or that's why a lot of times they'll say, if it's a smaller order, why don't you go use Fromuth?
Right.
And but one of the things that's happening in Padel, I think, is that we can't get enough products to keep the pipeline. You know, it's growing so fast.
Really?
And
Interesting.
the manufacturers are having trouble keeping
Yeah.
up with the U.S. market.
Yeah.
A lot of them are not in this
Yeah.
country,
Yeah.
right?
Most of them.
So that's why we're trying to
Yeah.
place big orders and have that inventory that we can
It's
ship.
smart. I do see that. I
It's
mean,
hard to predict for them right
yeah,
now.
yeah. We've done a couple reviews on rackets that we love, and boom, they sell out here, and then we go back to the, the distributor, and they're out. Or maybe they didn't find it at our e-commerce, but they went all to the other places, and then it's just out, and they didn't anticipate how well that racket was going to do.
Right.
So what is your number one selling brand or racket right now?
Padel racket, it would be Adidas.
Really?
We've carried them longer than any other brand because, we've had the relationship with them for so long. We do a lot of tennis business with them.
That's all racket sports.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
How about just for paddle?
For paddle?
Same thing?
Yeah, just for paddle is Adidas.
Oh.
I'm saying.
Wow. Do you see more of like the Adidas, the Babolat, Wilsons selling the most because that's what
Yeah.
Americans are familiar with?
Yeah. Those with our customer base, I would say the tennis brands shine bright. But then, as you become more familiar with the sport,
Right.
we've considered ourselves a legitimate contender when we got the paddle specific brands. So Bull, Knox, things like that, bring on, then, people started taking us seriously in the sport.
I think once people start watching the sport and they seeing like 20% or 25% of the people are using bull paddle.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
let me check that out. No more
Right.
player uses Knox,
Right.
Let me check that out.
Yeah, no, we are in discussions with Bull Padel right now to be a U.S. distributor, and we hope we can
Oh.
work some of that out with them because they have a lot of potential in the U.S.
Yeah,
market.
Oh yeah,
And they haven't been able to take advantage of
and the
that
line
yet.
of products they have is tremendous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
R&D they
Their
put
and
into
they're-
it.
their presence is phenomenal.
Their players
Yeah.
that play with it. I mean,
Yes.
Yeah.
It's,
Product's great.
Right.
It doesn't break.
yeah.
Right.
It's like the Wilson of paddle. You know
Yes.
what I mean? In the tennis world, you know what I
Yes.
mean? They're like a
It's a-
solid, strong, well-run company.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to say about the sport of Padel is it's a scene. People dress up to play Padel.
Yeah.
And so now you can do apparel sales
Yeah.
if you do it right. A lot of times in tennis shops they're done, unless it's like a club that sells all whites and they just have the white tops and the white bottoms with their club logo. They can sell those all day long at full
Yeah.
margin.
Yeah.
But I think Padel is helping rejuvenate the apparel side of
Yes.
racket sports
And,
business.
and for you guys, probably, I don't know if you know about it, but paddle is becoming what tennis was in the 70s and 80s, early 80s.
Yeah.
The leader sport, the cool sport. The sport that all my cool friends are playing.
Right.
So,
It's trendy.
and
you know?
it's trendy,
Oh, yeah.
and they want to spend the money on the clothing because I want to look good. You know what I mean? It's out there right now. So it's I always tell everybody that it's following the same evolution of tennis, what it was here in the 70s and 80s,
You're so right.
with the Filas and the Les and
Yeah.
the Sergio Tacchini.
Yes.
You know, like, well, oh my God, Italian Emperor.
That was my time. That was my time playing tennis. I love that era. I love that era.
Killed Rafila shirt when I was 14
Yeah.
years old.
Yeah. On a
With
least
the,
shirt,
the Bjorn Borg and all that.
Right, right.
And it's following the same trend. You know what I mean? And now it's amazing, and we've been there. That now all the wealthiest people in the United States, they're not putting tennis courts or pickleball courts in their houses. They're
Right.
putting paddle courts
Right.
because it's the coolest thing.
Right. Not only that, they're putting seating areas.
Yeah.
Like when you see these new Padel clubs going on, like the one we're here right now, the common areas they invest in them.
Yeah.
It encourages people to hang out.
Yeah.
You see them
Be
bringing
social.
bottles of wine
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
coolers. And
Yeah.
it's just like I said, it's a scene, and it's really
Yeah.
it's really cool to be a part of.
Yeah. It's so. So at Fromuth, something that every single club needs right away: balls. Do you guys say paddle balls?
Tons.
Okay.
What's your number one selling ball set?
The Wilson
The
Premier.
Wilson
Yeah.
Premier.
Yeah.
Wow. And how much does a box go for?
The markup is the same thing, like 10% up,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I'd have to look that up, but
Good.
yeah, that
And we do a lot of things like 10 in ones.
Okay.
You buy 10, you get a case free,
and then you go free shipping and all that.
We got so many calls from in the tennis side of things. Our common order is, oh my gosh, I have a tournament this Friday, and I forgot to order tennis balls,
Yeah.
and I can't get them from Wilson.
Yeah.
And we can ship them out that day. And
Well,
right.
one of the things that is happening right now, and going back to what you guys said, is that there is not enough product to keep on the growth. You know what I mean? And because everything is coming from China or Europe or whatever, it takes forever to get here. So you have to really, even with balls, at the beginning of in January, February, I mean, there was this, there were no balls, no paddle balls. I mean, every club was like right now with X in the supermarket. Everybody's crazy buying.
Yeah,
But they were, overstocking yourself with balls because me as a club owner, without balls, I don't have a business. Right. Period.
Exactly.
Done. I'm done.
Right.
Right. So, and the ball business is going to be huge. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it is already huge.
Yeah, I got a call the week of Reserve Cup from Reserve saying, we don't have enough balls. How fast can you do this?
Yeah.
And we sent them down the next day. But yeah, balls are.
Yeah.
if
a
I had a
nice
club
entryway.
right now, I'd be stocking up on balls simply because of the tariffs as well.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Well, that's a good one too. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So the price is going to go up and all that. So, but so now let's talk about something exciting we find out through, I don't know, connections, the underground paddle business.
Right. The rumors.
Your partnership with Hirostar.
Yes.
Let's talk about that exciting news.
Yeah, so that's been great for us. We actually met Lucio, the CEO and founder, last year, and he was looking for a U.S. distributor, got recommended to work with Fromuth, and he reached out, and it's been great. Their Tolito and what he does for that brand, and from trick shots to he's like the ultimate entertainer on court.
He's a Ronaldinho paddle.
That's been a phenomenal seller for us.
Yeah.
We can't keep enough aliens in stock.
Yeah.
So do you have the new 2025 ones?
It should be getting to Fromuth either today or Monday.
All right, reserve some for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have an
gonna do those
account?
reviews. Of course we do.
That's a brand that we love. I think besides that being they put their research and development there.
Yeah.
It's a great looking racket and
They listened to their audience.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They were like, this racket is too difficult to play with, so they made one similar. Someone I think is going to be easier to play with on intermediate and high intermediate people.
And they
So
have
I
a
think it's
good
gonna be
price
great.
point.
Yes.
Not too complex of a line, so it's a little
Right.
easier, and
It's good looking.
it is
a
great
good looking-
looking.
it's a cool
there's
racket.
there's style to it for sure, and back to his point about just the paddle world and the style and it's tied into fashion very heavily.
Yeah.
It is.
It's
definitely.
European.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, Europe leeds us in fashion, right?
Yeah, yeah.
and in
so-
paddle too.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's. Are you guys gonna go to? You guys gonna be at Racket X?
Yes.
Premiere?
And are you guys gonna go to the premiere?
Yes. Be there tonight and tomorrow night.
It's a good weekend to be in Miami.
Oh yeah,
God.
baby. Oh yeah.
It doesn't
You,
get any better.
you guys
than
want
this.
to talk about anything else to our audience that we may have missed?
Other than we're authentic, I would say. If there's one thing we love the sport. We love all racket sports, and we love taking care of customers too.
Yeah.
We have a lot of pride in what we do. We have people that work for us that they are grandparents now. Their kids work for us, and now their grandchildren work
You're
for
kidding
us.
me. I love it.
That's
I love it.
amazing.
A lot of times they just start in the warehouse, then they go to the retail store. We have a store attached to our warehouse, and then they move up to customer service. And by the time they get there, they know how many of a certain thing fit in a box and how you ship it the most efficiently.
Yeah.
And so we really enjoy the business, and the next generation is here,
Nice.
and so that's kind of exciting for me.
That's great. That's
And,
great.
And
they're having fun.
And it's gonna be very exciting with this new growth of all new racket sports. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's been only tennis for so many decades, and now it's gonna be super exciting. I mean,
Yeah.
and thank you for being part of this journey because we are in it too, and we're here to work together to
Yeah,
make
thank
this,
you guys.
this
Good exposure.
sport, you know, better and better every day here in the U.S.
Yeah, you guys do a great job. It's
Oh,
fun.
thanks,
It's been
man.
awesome
You're a
to
good
see.
follow.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Guys, thanks for coming on the show.
right,
Thank you.
You know,
Thank you.
congratulations.
You're doing a lot
man.
for the sport, so
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Congratulations. Thanks.
Thank you.
Good stuff.